Good morning, everyone. This is the Bible reading for section 4, lesson 3. Today we're reading Exodus 29 through 32 and Psalm 21. So Exodus 29. This is what you shall do to consecrate Aaron and his sons so that they may serve me as priests. Take 1 young bull and 2 rams without blemish, and unleavened bread and unleavened cakes mixed with oil, and unleavened wafers spread out with oil, and you shall make them of fine wheat flour. You shall put them in 1 basket and present them in a basket along with the bull and 2 rams. Then bring Aaron and his sons to the doorway of the tent of meeting, out where the basin is, and wash them in water. Then you shall take the garments and put on Aaron the tunic and the robe of the ephod and the breastplate, breastpiece, and wrap him in the skillfully woven sash of the ephod. And you shall put the turban on his head and put the holy crown on the turban. Then you shall take the anointing oil and pour it on his head and anoint him. You shall bring his sons and put tunics on them. And you shall wrap them with sashes, Aaron and his sons, and put the ornamental caps on them. And the priest's office shall be theirs by a perpetual statute. So you shall ordain Aaron and his sons. Then you shall bring the bull before the tent of meeting, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the bull's head. Then you shall kill the bull before the Lord by the doorway of the tent of meeting. And then you shall take some of the blood of the bull with your finger and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering. And you shall pour out the remainder of the blood at the base of the altar. You shall take all the fat that covers the intestines, and the lobe of the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, and offer them up in the smoke on the altar. But the meat of the bull, its hide, and the contents of its intestines you shall burn in the fire outside the camp. It is a sin offering. And you shall take 1 of the rams, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. Then you shall kill the ram, and you shall take its blood and sprinkle it around the altar of burnt offering. Then you shall cut the ram into pieces, and wash its intestines and legs, and place them with its pieces and its head, and you shall burn the whole ram on the altar. It is a burnt offering to the Lord. It is a sweet and soothing aroma, an offering by fire to the Lord. Then you shall take the other ram, and Aaron and his son shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. Then you shall kill the ram, and take some of its blood, and put it on the tip of the right ears of Aaron and his sons, and on the thumbs of the right hands, and on the big toes of the right feet, and sprinkle the rest of the blood around the altar of burnt offering. Then you shall take some of the blood that is on the altar, and some of the anointing oil, and sprinkle it on Aaron and his garments, and on his sons and their garments. Now Aaron and his garments and his sons and their garments shall be consecrated, dedicated, made holy, declared sacred for God's purpose. You shall also take the fat of the ram, the fat tail, the fat that covers the intestines, the lobe of the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that's on them, and the right thigh, for it is a ram of ordination, and 1 loaf of bread, and 1 cake of oiled bread, and 1 wafer out of the basket of the unleavened bread that is before the Lord. And you shall put all these in the hands of Aaron and his sons, and wave them as a wave offering before the Lord. Then you shall take them from their hands, and add them to the burnt offering, and burn them on the altar, for a sweet and soothing aroma before the Lord is an offering by fire to the Lord. Then you shall take the breast of the ram of Aaron's ordination, and wave it as a wave offering before the Lord, and it shall be your Moses' portion. And you shall consecrate the waved breast of offering of the ram used in the ordination, and the waved thigh offering of the priest's portion, since it is a contribution for Aaron and for his sons. It shall be for Aaron and his sons as their due portion from the Israelites forever, for it is a heave offering. It shall be a heave offering to the Lord from the Israelites from the sacrifices of their peace offerings. The holy garments of Aaron shall be for his sons after him, to be anointed and ordained in them. That son who is high priest in his place shall put them on each day for 7 days when he comes to the tent of meeting to minister in the holy place. You shall take the ram of the ordination and boil its meat in a holy place. Aaron and his son shall eat the meat of the ram in the basket at the doorway of the tent of meeting. They shall eat those things by which atonement was made at their ordination and consecration, but a layman shall not eat them, because they are holy, that is, set apart to the worship of God. And if any of the meat of the ordination or the bread remains until morning, you shall burn it in the fire. It shall not be eaten, because it is holy. So you shall do to Aaron and his sons in accordance with all I have commanded you during the 7 days that you should ordain them. You shall offer a bull every day as a sin offering for atonement. You shall cleanse the altar from sin when you make atonement for it, and you shall anoint it to consecrate it for God's sacred purpose. For 7 days you shall make atonement for the altar of burnt offering and consecrate it. Then the altar shall be most holy. Whatever touches the altar must be holy, set apart for God's service. Now this is what you shall offer on the altar. 2 one-year-old lambs shall be offered each day continuously. 1 lamb you shall offer in the morning, and 1 other lamb at twilight. And with the 1 lamb there shall be 1/10 of a measure of fine flour mixed with 1/4 of a hin of beaten olive oil, and 1/4 of a hin of wine for a drink offering to be poured out. And the other lamb you shall offer at twilight, and do this with it as with the grain offering of the morning, and with the drink offering for a sweet and soothing aroma to appease God, an offering by fire to the Lord. This will be a continual burnt offering throughout your generations at the door of the tent of meeting before the Lord, where I will meet with you, to speak to you there. There I will meet with the Israelites, and the tent of meeting shall be sanctified by my glory, the Shekinah, God's dwelling presence. I will sanctify the tent of meeting and the altar of burnt offering. Also I will sanctify Aaron and his sons to serve as priests to me. I will dwell among the sons of Israel and be their God. They shall know from personal experience and acknowledge that I am the Lord their God, who brought them out of the land of Egypt so that I might dwell among them. I am the Lord their God. Exodus 30. You shall make an altar upon which to burn incense. You shall make it of acacia wood. It shall be a cubit long and a cubit wide. It shall be square, and it shall be 2 cubits high. Its horns will be 1 piece with it. You shall overlay it with pure gold, its top and its sides all around, and its horns. And you shall make a gold molding all around it. You shall make 2 gold rings under its molding. Make them on the 2 side walls. On opposite sides they shall be holders for the poles with which to carry it. You shall make the poles of acacia wood overlaid with gold. You shall put the altar of incense in the holy place in front and outside of the veil that screens the ark of the testimony, before the mercy seat that is over the testimony, where I will meet with you. Aaron shall burn sweet and fragrant incense on it, and he shall burn it every morning when he trims and tends the lamps. When Aaron sets up the lamps at twilight, he shall burn incense, a perpetual incense before the Lord throughout your generations. You shall not offer any strange incense on this altar, or burnt offering or meal offering. You shall not pour out a drink offering on it. Once a year Aaron shall make atonement for sin on its horns. You shall make atonement on it with the blood of the sin offering of atonement once a year throughout your generations. It is most holy to the Lord. Then the Lord said to Moses, when you take the census of the Israelites, each one shall give a ransom for himself to the Lord when you count them, so that no plague will come on them when you number them. This is what everyone who is counted shall give, as he joins those already counted, a half a shekel, according to the sanctuary shekel. The shekel is 20 gerahs. A half shekel is a contribution to the Lord. Everyone who is counted from 20 years old and over, as he joins those who are already counted, shall give this contribution to the Lord. The rich shall not give more, and the poor shall not give less than half a shekel, when you give this contribution to the Lord to make atonement for yourselves. You shall take the atonement money from the Israelites and use it exclusively for the service of the tent of meeting, so that it may be a memorial for the Israelites before the Lord to make atonement for yourselves. Then the Lord said to Moses, you shall also make a basin of bronze, with a base of bronze for washing. You shall put it outside the court, in the court, between the tent of meeting and the altar of burnt offering, and you shall put water in it. Aaron and his sons shall wash their hands and their feet. When they enter the tent of meeting, they shall wash with water, so that they will not die. Also, when they approach the altar to minister, to burn an offering in the fire of the Lord, they shall do the same. They shall wash their hands and their feet, so that they will not die, and it shall be a perpetual statute for them, for Aaron and his descendants throughout their generations. Moreover, the Lord said to Moses, take for yourself the best spices, 500 shekels of liquid myrrh, half as much, 250 of sweet scented cinnamon, and 250 of fragrant cane, and 500 shekels of cinnamon blossom according to the sanctuary shekel, and a hin of olive oil. You shall make of these a holy anointing oil, a perfume mixture, the work of a perfumer. It shall be a sacred anointing oil. You shall anoint the tent of meeting with it, and the ark of the testimony, and the table for bread, and all of its utensils, and the lampstand and its utensils, and the altar of incense, and the altar of burnt offering, with all its utensils, and the basin for cleansing and its base. You shall consecrate them, that they may be most holy. Whatever touches them must be holy, set apart for God. You shall anoint Aaron and his sons, and consecrate them, that they may serve as priests to me. You shall say to the Israelites, this shall be a holy and sacred anointing oil to me alone throughout your generations. It shall not be poured on anyone's body, nor shall you make any like of it in the same composition. It is holy, it shall be sacred to you. Whoever prepares anything like it or puts any of it on a layman shall be cut off from his people, excluding him from the atonement made from them. Then the Lord said to Moses, take sweet and fragrant spices, stacte on Unsha and galbanum, sweet and fragrant spices with pure frankincense. There shall be an equal amount of each, and make incense with it, a perfume, the work of a perfumer, salted, pure, and sacred. You shall crush some of it into a very fine powder, and put some of it before the testimony in the tent of meeting, where I will meet with you. It shall be most holy for you. The incense which you shall not make in the same proportions for yourselves. It shall be holy to the Lord. Whoever makes any like of it to use as perfume shall be cut off from his people, excluding him from the atonement made for them. Exodus 31. Now the Lord said to Moses, see, I have called by name Baziel, son of Uri, son of Hur, the tribe of Judah. I have filled him with the Spirit of God in wisdom and skill, in understanding and intelligence, in knowledge, and in all kinds of craftsmanship, to make artistic designs for work in gold and silver and in bronze, and in the cutting of stones for setting, and in the carving of wood, to work in all kinds of craftsmanship. And behold, I myself have appointed with him Aholibah, son of Ashimach, the tribe of Dan. To all who are wise-hearted I have given the skill and ability to make everything that I have commanded you: the tent of meeting, the ark of the testimony, the mercy seat that is upon it, all the furnishings of the tent, the table for the bread and its utensils, the pure gold lampstand with its utensils, the golden altar of incense, the bronze altar of burnt offering with all of its utensils and base and its base, the finely worked garments, the holy garments for Aaron the high priest, and the garments for his sons to minister as priests, and the anointing oil and the sweet and fragrant incense for the holy place. They are to make them in according to all that I have commanded you. And the Lord said to Moses, but as for you, say to the Israelites, you shall most certainly observe my Sabbaths, for it is a sign between me and you throughout the generations, so that you may know without any doubt and acknowledge that I am the Lord who sanctifies you and sets you apart for myself. Therefore you shall keep the Sabbath, for it is holy to you. Everyone who profanes it must be put to death, for whoever does work on the Sabbath, that person's soul shall be cut off from among his people, excluding him from atonement made for them. For 6 days work may be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of complete rest, sacred to the Lord. Whoever does work on the Sabbath day must be put to death. So the Israelites shall observe the Sabbath, to celebrate the Sabbath throughout the generations, as a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the Israelites forever. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, and on the 7th day he ceased and was refreshed. When he had finished speaking with him on Mount Sinai, he gave Moses the 2 tablets of the testimony, tablets of stone written with the finger of God. Exodus 32. Now when the people saw that Moses delayed coming down from the mountain, they gathered together before Aaron and said to him, come, make us a god who will go before us. As for this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him. So Aaron replied to them, take off the gold rings that are in the ears of your wives, your sons and daughters, and bring them to me. So all the people took off the gold rings that were in their ears and brought them to Aaron, and he took the gold from their hands and fashioned it with an engraving tool and made it into a molten calf. And they said, this is your God, O Israel, who brought you up from the land of Egypt. Now when Aaron saw the molten calf, he built an altar before it, and Aaron made a proclamation and said, tomorrow shall be a feast to the Lord. So they got up early the next day and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings, and then the people sat down to eat and drink and got up to play shamefully without more restraint. Then the Lord said to Moses, go down at once, for your people, whom you brought up from the land of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. They have quickly turned aside from the way which I commanded them. They have made themselves a molten calf and have worshipped it and sacrificed to it and said, 'This is your God, O Israel, who brought you up from the land of Egypt.' The Lord said to Moses, 'I have seen this people, and behold, they are stiff-necked, stubborn, rebellious people. Now therefore let me alone, and do not interfere, so that my anger may burn against them, that I may destroy them, and I will make of you, your descendants, a great nation.' But Moses appeased and entreated the Lord his God, and said, 'Lord, why does your anger burn against your people, whom you've brought up out of the land of Egypt with great power and a mighty hand? Why should the Egyptians say, with evil intent their God brought them out, to kill them in the mountains and destroy them from the face of the earth? Turn away from your burning anger and change your mind about harming your people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Israel, your servant, whom you swore an oath by yourself and said to them, I will multiply your descendants as the stars of the heavens, and all this land of which I have spoken I will give your descendants, and they shall inherit it forever.' So the Lord changed his mind about the harm which he had said he would do to his people. Then Moses turned and went down from the mountain with the 2 tablets of the testimony in his hands. The tablets were written on both sides. They were written on one side and on the other. The tablets were the work of God. The writing was the writing of God engraved on the tablets. Now when Joshua heard the noise of the people, and as they shouted, he said to Moses, 'There is a sound of the battle in the camp.' But Moses said, 'It is not the sound of the cry of victory, nor is it the sound of the cry of defeat, but I hear the sound of singing.'" And as soon as he approached the camp and saw the calf and the dancing, Moses' anger burned, and he threw the tablets from his hands and smashed them at the foot of the mountain. Then Moses took the calf they made and burned it in the fire and ground it to a powder and scattered it on the surface of the water and made the Israelites drink it. Then Moses said to Aaron, "What did this people do to you that you have brought so great a sin on them?" Aaron said, "Do not let the anger of my Lord burn. You know the people yourself, that they are prone to evil. For they said to me, 'Make us a god who will go before us.' As for this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become with him. I said to them, 'Let whoever has gold jewelry take it off.' So they gave it to me, and then I threw it in the fire, and out came this calf." Now when Moses saw that the people were out of control, for Aaron had let them get out of control to the point of being an object of mockery among their enemies, then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, "Whoever is on the Lord's side, come to me." And all of the sons of Levi, priestly tribe, gathered together to him. He said to them, "Thus saith the Lord your God of Israel, every man strap on his sword on his thigh, and go back and forth from gate to gate throughout the camp, and every man kill his brother, and every man his friend, and every man his neighbor, all who continue pagan worship." So the sons of Levi did as Moses instructed, and about 300 men of the people of Israel were killed that day. Then Moses said to the Levites, "Dedicate yourselves today to the Lord, for each man has been against his own son and his own brother, and his attempt to escape execution, so that he may restore and bestow his blessing on you this day." Then the next day Moses said to the people, "You have committed a great sin. Now I will go up to the Lord. Perhaps I can make atonement for your sin." So Moses returned to the Lord and said, "Oh, these people have committed a great sin against you, and have made themselves a god of gold. Yet now, if you will, forgive their sin, and if not, please blot me out of the book which you have written, kill me." But the Lord said to Moses, "Whoever has sinned against me, I will blot him out of my book, not you. But now go, lead the people to a place where I have told you. Behold, my angel shall go before you. Nevertheless, in the day when I will punish them for their sin." So the Lord struck the people with a plague because of what they had done with the calf which Aaron had made for them. Psalm 21. Praise for help. O Lord, the King will delight in your strength. In your salvation, how greatly will he rejoice. You have given him his heart's desire, and you have not withheld the request of his lips. For you meet him with blessings of good things. You set a crown of pure gold on his head. He asked life of you, and you gave it to him. Long life forever and evermore. His glory is great because of your victory. Splendor and majesty you bestow on him. For you make him most blessed, a blessing forever. You make him joyful with the joy of your presence. For the king confidently trusts in the Lord, and through the loving kindness, faithfulness, goodness of the Most High, he will never be shaken. Your hand will reach out and defeat all your enemies. Your hand will reach out those who hate you. You will make them as if in a blazing oven in the time of your anger. The Lord will swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire will devour them. Their offspring you will destroy from the earth, and their descendants from the sons of men. For they planned evil against you, they devised a malevolent plot, and they will not succeed. For you will make them turn their backs in defeat. You will aim your bowstring of divine justice at their faces. Be exalted, Lord, in your strength. We will sing and praise your power.